Hi again, it's Natalie here, and this week we're talking about the long, drawn out, traumatic, but occasionally rewarding process that is coming out. Now, for me, coming out kind of started a little bit by accident. I didn't really want to start coming out when I did, but it was a difficult time. Stuff kind of started falling out, and to be honest, you know, the initial ones were very unplanned, and it just kind of happened. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend that as an approach, but sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do. But I guess there's lots of different types of coming out that you have to do to lots of different types of people. And I guess coming out as trans, particularly if you're going to undergo some sort of social or medical transition, is a huge undertaking. There's so much to do. You have to come out to so many people that other people don't have to come out to. So, for example, you find yourself phoning up the water board or the electricity company and coming out to them, and it's like, why does anyone else have to do that? But of course you do, because, or in certainly my situation, because I was changing name and I was changing title and so on. So you've got to have these conversations so much with so many people. It's so emotionally exhausting. And then, of course, you have to come out to all your family and friends. If you're changing your appearance and name and so on, you need to do that. So it's a huge logistical undertaking. And I'm quite a shy and reserved person, and I'm not very good at having difficult conversations with people, so that was hard. Now, initially, I approached it from I got people to help me, really. So I got, first of all, I came out to my girlfriend at the time, and she, at the time we didn't really want to tell anyone else. So we kind of kept it to ourselves for a while, and I said to her, look, if you're struggling and you want to talk about it with someone, talk to some of our friends, trusted friends, and bring them in on it so that you don't feel you're alone. And after a while, she wanted to do that. So she actually came out to the first few friends for me, and I didn't need to do that. So that was great. Saved me a job. And then, so we brought some of our friends in, and sometimes she had the conversation, sometimes I had the conversation, but they were all hard. And it was all this horrible situation, sitting there in a room, and it seemed like it was perfectly silent. You were just having to say these, what felt like quite deep and difficult things about yourself. And actually, a lot of the time I was formulating what I was saying and my thoughts about this stuff as I was saying it. It was really hard. So actually, the coming out was part of the realisation experience for me. But anyway, time goes on. At some point I had to come out to my parents. That was hard, as you can imagine. So I guess with them, I knew they were going to be supportive, but I had to go around there, say, I need to talk about something. And of course, at this point, I was still with my ex-girlfriend, and they're thinking, you're getting married, or you're having a child, or you're moving away, or something. But it wasn't quite that. So that was fun. But they were really good, and I knew they would be. But you always have this little bit of doubt, and I had several kind of breakdowns beforehand about worrying about, oh my God, are they going to be alright? Are they going to disown me? Or, as I did with almost every person I came out to, because it's hard. You feel like you're going to get rejected, even though you know really you're probably not going to. So this goes on, and for a long time, coming out to all these different people, coming out on work. That was hard. More about that when we talk about work. But again, I came out to my boss by accident because I was just having a really, really bad day, and it just kind of fell out. I'm not very planned about these things. Probably should have been. But so there's all this stuff I could say about taking different approaches to different people, but really, you can only do it in the way that you see fit. For me, it was just kind of by accident after unplanned event, but it kind of worked out all right. So in the long run, it's a necessary evil, and actually it keeps going. I've been doing it, 4 years in, I'm still doing it, but it does get easier. But anyway, thank you all, and I'll speak to you next week.